Today we're going to do a little unboxing video. This is going to be a little bit different. Everybody's talked about Starlink Mini. There's all kinds of stuff out online, but I'm going to attack it from a little bit different direction. Of course, this is an aviation channel. So what I want to be able to do is use my Starlink Mini in motion in the airplane. Lots of folks have talked about doing this. Now the Roam plan allows you to be going over 400 miles an hour. With a great tailwind, my Saratoga might get up to 225, 230 knots. So I don't have to worry about the speed anymore under the Roam plan. I did buy this direct from Starlink because they gave me 30 days of trying it out to see if I like it and I can return it. Plus, I had a friend of mine in our Saratoga group on Facebook who was able to give me his referral code. So after my first month, I should get a month free on this. As of November of 2025, this is $229 for this device. But I did a couple of other things. In the airplane, we have 12 volts cigarette lighter adapters up front, but I don't like to see a bunch of wires hanging around. I don't like the way it looks whenever I'm flying. So what I want to be able to do is have this run completely without it being plugged into 12 volt. So to do that, I have this device here from Peekdo, Chinese company, I'm sure. You can get them from here in the US, but they are coming from a US warehouse. That doesn't mean they're from the US though. This device is a battery that plugs into the back of the Starlink, and this should run the Starlink somewhere between 3 and 5 hours. I've heard a number of different things, but 3 hours, if I did need to plug this in, I do have a high-speed USB wall adapter that I have a friend of mine who has the same one, was able to charge this from 30% to 100% in about an hour. So it doesn't take too long if we were to stop and go have lunch, something of that sort. It does have a display on the front, so I can see what the draw is. I can see how full the battery is. I can see how much time I have left. And I can actually see what the charging is looking like. So I like that. It does come with this warning label on the back. Do not plug this into the Starlink adapter. You don't want to do this. You can't charge it through the 12 volt. It's only an output from here. So I have to take that off. And in the box, let's see what we get. Sure, we get a USB-C cable. Yep, USB-C cable. And then we get this little device here that will plug into this with the barrel connector. And then this should plug into the back of the Starlink as well. So that's how I'm going to power my Starlink. The other thing that I went ahead and purchased for this, because the Saratoga is an aluminum airplane, and I have not talked to anybody who's had very good luck of being able to transmit or receive through the aluminum skin of an aircraft. Now, I have heard some differing things about planes that are composites, like the Cirrus. Some of those guys have been pretty effective. I've also talked to folks who have been good at being able to mount the Starlink in the window of their airplane and face it to the north and be able to get connectivity. I'm going to do some testing with this. My first attempt is going to be, I'm going to put it on the dash of the airplane. It's got a pretty good sized windscreen and glare shield. So my plan is to put it in the glare shield, but I'm going to do some testing first. I'm not just going to throw it up there. One of the things that I've always been really nervous about, and maybe it's just me, my airplane has a little bit of an older cockpit style. So it's a traditional 6-pack. It has vacuum and steam gauges. And one of the things about it is, even though my airplane does have a magnetometer into the wing that helps align my directional gyros, I do check it. I make sure my DGs are in alignment with my compass. One of the things I want to test with this is, once we get power hooked up to it, we've got it transmitting and receiving, I want to see if I put it on the glare shield, does it move my magnetic compass? One of the things about being on a glare shield is you don't want something white sitting up there. If you've ever been flying and somebody's put something white up on that glare shield, it reflects. It's almost like a heads-up display reflecting in the glass. It's horribly distracting. I hate it. So I bought this because of the black non-glare cover that can go onto the Starlink in order to keep the glare out of that glare shield. So here we're going to go ahead and open up the Starlink. See how we do this. See if Elon outsmarted me on how to open this thing. I wouldn't doubt it. Yep, we got one on each end. Okay. So Obviously, you don't need to be able to read to be able to get this up and running. So here is the device itself. What do we have in here? We have the notorious super long cable. Looks like we have our pole mount here, which not going to do me much good in an airplane. Here is our power brick that would plug into that barrel connector. Not going to be using that for now. And let's see, anything else in the box? No, so that's it. So it should be pretty simple here. I will have to take my battery pack. Looks like I have to take this right here off somewhere. A little stand of some sort. Yep. We'll just slide that out then. And we'll plug in our barrel connector like so. Slide that in there, and we have an entire box ready to go. I want to talk about why this is so important about checking out something before you lay it on the dash of your airplane. So I am going to test putting the Starlink on the dash of the plane, but as I mentioned, I'm really worried about compass deviation. We do fly this airplane IFR. If I was just flying VFR, maybe I wouldn't be so concerned about it, but because I do fly IFR and because it is an older steam gauge type airplane, I do have some gyroscopic precession I have to deal with my directional gyros, meaning I have to make sure my directional gyros match what my magnetic compass is showing me. So we're going to do a little bit of testing here. We're going to see what happens with the Starlink, and I've also got a GoPro here that I know causes some problems. So we're going to show you what that looks like. So Corey, I'm going to have you go ahead and turn on the master switch and the avionics master.
Okay.
Now let's go ahead and film this. So you can see just turning on the master switch and the avionics master made the compass deviate. And that's normal, and that's why we have this card here. This card is saying what kind of magnetic variations do we have in here whenever we are running our avionics. Now let me show you what happens. Just putting a standard GoPro up here next to this. Look at how much that compass swings with that GoPro being up here. So take it away. Now look at that. Putting your GoPro back on this side. This one doesn't, it's not as bad over here. But if I put the GoPro over here, I get this massive swing. If you were flying IFR and you were being told to fly a certain magnetic heading, you could get yourself in trouble with that. So now what we're going to do is we're going to see what happens when we put the Starlink up here. First off, I'm going to put it up powered off, and we're going to watch our compass. I didn't see any movement there. And I put the battery side as close to it as I possibly could. Now we're going to power it on. Power on. We're powered on now. And let's see. And I am not seeing any deviation there. So that makes me really comfortable that we can put this up here. We're not going to run into any issues flying IFR and trying to make sure that we can fly a compass heading. One thing about the Saratoga is we don't have a window facing up or something like that. It's all aluminum skinned in the back. So we have to have a place where this can easily point towards the sky. As I said, some folks are having some luck putting it on a side window on whichever side of the aircraft is facing north if they're in an east-west heading. But folks that I've talked to are getting really good reception and connectivity just having it sitting here on the dash.